Greetings all, and welcome to the Rural Office, Charge d'Affaires, Dame Mary Litchi. First, dare to listen? Why did the Nubian queen, regardless of trial and tribulation, stand her ground as to the way forward, not being a quick fix here or a quick fix there, but setting the wrong right, that all be correctly fixed and sustained? Well, we suggest to all, put aside ideas and prejudices, if any, and listen. Dare to listen to this entire video for about 15 minutes. If you understand the message that we must return to our start point, you must understand the soul within the purpose, which is you. Dare to listen? Take the time to hear. This is a special recording that has touched many that dared to listen, that saw the deeper purpose of why for humanity and that relevance of Africa. This was recorded in a simple format, and the background used, because of the voice of our Empress, riveted as such with the playback. You could swear that it was taped underwater. Dare to listen to the end? Maybe it will not make a difference in your life and thinking, but then maybe it will. And then a clear understanding to our strict protocol with a silver line to respect all people of all nations, all creeds, all races, all religions and orientations, all nationalities and all governments thereof within the ArcNubia community networks. We aspire to achieve unity, harmony, and a true welcome to all of good heart, an intention for the betterment of humanity as a unified collective of this our one home, Earth. Thank you, and good evening for the Royal Office of Charge d'Affaires, Dame Mary Litchi. Good night.
It's late here, but I promised to answer a question from someone very special and very wise. Their question was, Africa can offer us so much. Africa can contribute so much. But Africa has to inform our generations about her priceless inheritance. Please, tell us what you think we can learn from you. Many of us are ready. I was totally in awe reading that comment from a special friend, Christoph Wagner Brauswetter. Unfortunately, my time did not allow for an immediate answer. Thus I explain that I will refer to him, and by this I do. In all cultures, we have learned to honor and respect the grandparents, for their wisdom is priceless. Africa is the cradle of all nations, all people, of all of the magnificent branches of the tree of humanity. In all nations, we learn to honor the parents, and so to the grandparents. The wealth of Africa is not just the wealth of the soil or the wealth of the people. but the wealth of the wisdom of age of that grandmother. Many of great empires became during the existence of history, from the time of the gods to this time of the close and the start of the new tomorrow. Solomon's wisdom has not yet been learned. He said in that wisdom, there is nothing new under the sun. This I say. There was nothing new under the sun, except now the extent of mankind's arrogance and disrespect for that what really matters. Over the generations, we have seen great empires rise and great empires fall. Each of those empires would not imagine that one day they will fall and no longer be, just as today. But with the rise and fall of all inside and outside of Africa, inside and outside of the southern world that was the first that created the all, one consistency remained: the people thereof, that yet until this day has retained this sense of culture, traditions, value as family, even their foods, their way of life. And though it may seem simple to many, primitive to many, going backwards to many, remember, empires rose and empires fell, and yet they are still there, unchanging. Regardless of the trials and tribulations of life, regardless of all that has been faced, be it pleasure or pain, the population grows. And the internal sense of tradition, values, community, and respect as a collective is unchanging. Africa, as all of the South, is massive. And all share that common shared sense of traditions and culture, all equally as a collective that is unchanging. I marvel at times to think that were we to take the map of the world nations, the entire so referred third world encompasses the entire ancient world of the South, the region of grandmamas. And that region is suffering. From grandmama's house to grandmama's table. And yet, you will see the smiles on the face of the people. The joy and respect of culture. because those things have more value because of its longevity than those of a system of things that easily fall, because that is perishable. We all need to remember our root and change the collective thinking by going back into our past in order that we can move forward as a collective unity, recognizing and knowing, understanding our common shared ancestry, our common shared inheritance, our common shared purpose and goals of existence, because it is no longer there. Do not look upon people of the South, of different cultures, or their food is like this because of poverty, or their house is like this because of this. It's not. Though poverty have a role to play in many things, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, the way of life has not changed. The circumstances have changed. The people there live longer. They're healthier. Do not see the sufferings of droughts and all of these things as the definition of who Africa and the world of the South is. It is not. It's just the indication of circumstances, some within manpower that we can change, and some outside of mankind's power that we can do our best to protect ourselves from the totality of the impact. The values and the culture honored, respected, that our collective ancestors fought and died for, we have forgotten. Today one buy a house and the first we do is to put a fence. Whether outside that fence is our brother or sister or cousin or neighbor that is homeless, it does not matter. The fence is there. That fence is not only that of the physical fence, but also the mental one. Within the villages and the regions and the homes, the districts and provinces of the South, you will find that people will make a more collective effort as a community to stand by each other, to help each other. Do not define Africa by civil unrest and wars. It's 54 countries, over 1.1 billion people, and a landmass so great. One is incapable of trying to imagine mentally the extent of it. Do not define our people by the economical or the political definitions of this time, but by our ancestral, tribal, cultural, and traditional character, because that defines who we are. What do I think is needed to be learned? We need to learn to remember that we are all of one and the same cradle. And if we need to find unity, if we need to unify as a world and as a people, then we must go back in order to go forward. Not go back in a way of life and circumstances, but go back so we are refreshed and we recalled who we are, our ancestry, our tradition, our culture as a unity, as a people. We are one. Nubia was the firstborn. Nubia gave rise to daughter Asia. And Asia, those beautiful ones born too of Africa. Caucasia. 3 children of one and the same cradle. Grandmama was forgotten. It is written in all the sacred books, honor thy father and thy mother, that all may go well with you. How much so from the mother of all mothers, the nation left us out. We must go back so we find again that root passion and compassion within us. We must look well and examine the positive. Put aside the negative in order that you can see clear what you must see and not be distracted by what is meant as a distraction. Remember, when your hand is cut, you bleed. When my hand is cut, I bleed too. Africa is bleeding. There's 7 billion people on the planet. And the majority of them are going more and more to the economical standards of the third world. It's frightening for some, and to others, it's not. They're accustomed to it. We have got to take stock of ourselves. We have got to start looking to the south, the cradle of the parents, with different eyes. Because all came, all grew. Empires stood, empires fell. But that one consistent point and region remained, holding until today its culture at its root, its traditions at its roots, even its food at its roots. Learn from it. We speak in parables in Africa. It's the culture and the people of the parables. Within that, there is much to learn and understand. Enlightenment to be found. For it's the language and the wisdom of the grandmama. We are one people, one root, many branches. In time long gone, one part of the lines went up over the Iranian plateau, extending the settlements. When the first ice age fell, they were caught by the Indus and that region to keep the history of our history very short because it's so many thousands of pages of our archives. From those that survived that first change in the weather, Asia, the children born thereafter was and became. Features slightly changed over the generation. The part of their lines that went to the north, with the second fall of the Ice Age, was caught in the Caucasus. Not many survived. Some returned down, according to our history, as we know it, not as is told to us. Some return, the few, or I can better say some of their generations. They too would change, lighter, features different. That's why you see the difference in the complexions within the thrones and houses of old, of our house, in times past. One day that was caught in that Caucasus region, the great-great-grandchildren of the generations born of them formed what is now the Caucasian nation. It's grandmama's great-grandchildren. Humanity is one. To find oneself, to understand the priceless inheritance. Take the journey back in order that humanity itself can move forward. Now on unified grounds, as a unified people, with a unified purpose, for a unified world. And our generations of children to come, as Earth's global family, and the earthly flowers of heaven. Thank you for your question, Christophe.
Greetings all, and welcome to the World Office of Charity Affairs, Dame Mary Lucci. Tonight, I'm going to go over with you the Royal Office Protocol and Regulation Articles. Royal Office Titles, Articles 1 through 4. Royal Office titles are not to be used for the following: commercial advertisements, personal letters not pertaining to Royal Office or AKF, personal posts in social media of casual nature, or anything of commercial nature that is not approved by Royal Office management. Royal Officers Etiquette, Articles 1 through 8. Article number 1. Royal officers must be addressed with proper titles while on the ARC network. Very important. Always, royal officers must be addressed with proper titles while on the ARC network. Article number 2. Royal officers are to be addressed with proper titles at all royal engagements. Again, number 2. Royal officers are to be addressed with proper titles at all royal engagements. Article number 3. Royal officers at all times are to present themselves as royal office professionals and to use proper language and etiquette with public relations and media affairs. Article number 4. All interoffice mail on the ARC network between royal office members should address each with proper title and the use of royal office language. Article number 5. Royal officers in all letters or correspondence on the ARC network with members should use proper language or etiquette. Examples, sir or madam. Article number 6. The use of profanity or negativity of any kind on the ARC network is prohibited. Article number 7. Royal officers are to conduct themselves at all times, including on all social media sources, with royal office standards, which include the use of profanity or negativity of any kind. That is strictly forbidden. Again, royal officers are to conduct themselves at all times on all social media sources with royal office standards. And this is very important in social media. Facebook, Twitter, any type of social media out there. We are to conduct ourselves, and when we're posting, to always remember that we are representing the royal office. And people are watching. We are watching. Article number 8. If a member of royal office has acted out of malice or disrespect to any member of the royal office, this will result in an action being taken by the royal office management. Thank you for joining me this evening. And again, my name is Dame Mary Lucci, Charge Duty Affairs for Her Majesty for the Royal Office. Thank you and good evening. Greetings all. Welcome back to the Royal Office of Charge Duty Affairs, Dame Mary Lucci. Tonight, I'm going to discuss with you the Royal Officers and Task Force members' responsibilities and obligations. Articles 1 through 13. Article number 1. All members are responsible for their individual office portfolios. Article number 2. All members of royal office should report into the ARC headquarters, if possible daily, but not less than twice a week. Article number 3. If any member is to be absent for a period of 3 consecutive days or a week, please contact a member of management to inform them of your absence. Article number 4. All members of royal office should provide the ARC Management Secretariat with the current contact information, which includes personal phone numbers, email, and current mailing address. Article number 5. All members of royal office should update the new ARC registration page with their most current information. Article number 6. All members of the royal office have taken an oath to protect, honor, and respect the throne and royal protocols of royal laws of royals and nobles of the royal kingdoms and thrones of the Federation of the Kingdoms of Africa, the African Kingdoms thrones, which is and reflects the self-same discipline and honor all global royal thrones, houses, and royal courts nobilities. Article number 7. All royal office and task force members are to hold dear and to defend the honor and respect the ancestry of history, culture, confidences, and royal protocols of the throne dynastic order of the Assyrian matriarchal throne of Sheba of Nubia thrones and nations. Article number 8. Any disrespect to the throne or treason to laws and protocols of the throne is grounds for the formal decree towards nullifying of nobility titles. Article number 9. All Royal Office and Task Force members must agree to work in harmony with the Federation and within the correct diplomatic protocols. Article number 10. All information discussed to be classified must remain confidential on all matters of Throne and African Kingdoms Federation. Article 11. Any member of Royal Office or Task Force whom violates AKF rules of confidentiality and leaks information out to outside sources will be held accountable and will be charged with a crime to the highest account of the law. Article 12. All members of Task Force and pre-Task Force team trainees are expected to follow all the rules and the laws of the Royal Officers. Article 13. All members of Royal Office are expected to uphold all of the rules in the Articles of the ArcNubia social network community. Thank you and good evening from the Office of Charge of Affairs, Dame Mary Lucci. Good night.